Hello there guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. A few days ago we got some sad news regarding Star Wars Battlefront 3, and not too long after that Dennis Brownvell spoke about what could have been for Battlefront 2 should they have carried on making content for the game. As far as news goes, it's all pretty old now as it's a couple of days ago, and no doubt you've seen other YouTubers make videos about this, but I've been away for a couple of days so I'm only just being able to get to it now, and I really wanted to express my thoughts on it. So I'll start off with the news about Battlefront 3 as that came first. In the very early hours of Saturday morning, so November 20th, Tom Henderson, a reliable gaming insider who mostly covers Battlefield and Call of Duty, revealed that DICE did in fact pitch Battlefront 3 to EA. However, they turned it down due to them needing 20% more sales just to make the same amount of money due to licensing costs. It's important to note that even though Tom is a reliable source, there will no doubt be times where he is wrong, so do take all of this and what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. Tom then goes on to say that DICE has now started working on the next Battlefield game, so they won't be making any moves on Battlefront 3 anytime soon. He also adds that there are currently 2 games in development at EA, both of which are seemingly single player. We know that one of those games will be the Jedi Fallen Order sequel, but the other one thus far is a mystery. A ton of the more senior DICE developers like CJ, Guillaume, Dennis Brownvell and Harvey Newman have also left DICE over the past year and a half as well, so as a result it feels even more unlikely that we'll ever see Battlefront 3, or at least in the near future. Whilst all of this news is not surprising at all, it's still very disappointing to see. Whilst I'm thoroughly enjoying Battlefield 2042, it's so far being received very poorly by a lot of people, and it just makes me wonder what if they just carried on making Battlefront 2 content. The game was literally in its prime at the time and had such a bright future ahead of it, so it feels really stupid that EA would just go and cancel it the way they did. Whilst I totally understand the necessity for it, it still just makes you wonder. It also feels stupid that they wouldn't even greenlight a Battlefront 3 either. They can very easily learn from their past mistakes and launch a really successful third game, no doubt making that extra 20% in sales at some point, and also monetizing the game in a consumer friendly way like how Battlefront 2 was towards the end of its life, thus making more money off of microtransactions throughout the game's hopefully long lifespan. With all of the Star Wars content that we currently have, as well as all of the content to come, it really feels like a no-brainer for someone to make this game. So that's the Battlefront 3 stuff, but on Saturday evening, Dennis Brownvell then took to Reddit and Twitter and spoke a bit about Battlefront 1 and 2, which revealed some really interesting ideas. With regards to Battlefront 1, Dennis reveals the original plans for the DLCs. So the Outer Rim DLC was originally going to be Chewbacca and Bossk as the heroes, Bespin was going to be Lando and IG-88, Death Star was going to be Obi-Wan Kenobi and Tarkin, but then they weren't sure if the Rogue One DLC would go ahead, so the backup plan was for R2-D2 to be a fully playable hero for the Death Star, with Obi-Wan moving to a Mos Eisley themed DLC pack along with Greedo. He also explains some of the reasons behind these changes. So the reason IG-88 wasn't in Battlefront 1 was due to the super long process of rigging a droid character, so they replaced IG-88 with Dengar, and all bipedal droid characters were moved to Battlefront 2, so that's obviously what we see with the likes of the B1 battle droid and the B2 for the Separatists in the game. With the whole Rogue One situation though, that obviously did go ahead in the end, so Mos Eisley was pushed back to Battlefront 2. He doesn't offer anything with regards to the other changes, but on Twitter he does go on to say that Sullust took them a really long time to make, so long in fact that he reckons that the game could have launched with the Death Star and Bespin DLCs already in the game, should they have not actually worked on Sullust. Whilst that is actually quite a shock, I personally really loved Sullust, and to this day it remains my favourite map in the game, so I am very glad it was there. Out of all of this though, the thing that hits hardest for me is the fact that should Battlefront 2 have carried on, we would have had Ahsoka and Ventress as playable heroes with Mustafar as a brand new map. Dennis, who has now deleted the tweet, confirms that they had been prototyped for release after the Scarif update. These are 2 heroes and 1 map that had been requested for the game since even before launch, so it's really disappointing that they didn't make the final cut. I feel very lucky that Battlefront 2 went on for as long as it did following its launch, however I can't help but be frustrated at the business decisions at the end of it. Hopefully we will eventually see a Battlefront 3 with all of this amazing Star Wars content and big large scale battles, but perhaps it won't be coming from DICE. Dennis reminds us that the Battlefront IP is a Lucasfilm property, so ultimately any developer could propose a Battlefront game to them. I'm really hoping that we do see it from DICE and some of the original developers do come back, but if that was to be the case then it likely won't won't launch for another 5 or 6 years from now. But whatever happens, I hope Battlefront 3 does eventually happen. But for now, I'm just going to be focusing on the likes of Star Wars Hunters and actual confirmed games. Let me know what you think about all of this news in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all things Star Wars gaming. I'm personally very disappointed about all of this news with regards to Battlefront, as I think there's a huge amount of potential for this game, and it baffles me that EA won't even consider it. But that is it from me today, guys. Thank you all very much for watching, and may the Force be with you always.